These 16-year-old girls were thrown into jars. Were thrown into jars by these people, with their hands and feet tied to big stones, and soaked in the jar for 7 days before being taken out, and dressed up, and put on a red wedding dress, and buried in a coffin. The girls who died tragically like this have the strongest evil spirit and yin, and at this time I was surrounded by such a group of women. I saw that these women's bellies were unusually large. I asked Darwin Shi if they were pregnant. Darwin said solemnly, "That's not a normal pregnancy. They were conceived after death. In their bellies are made up of countless pains and infinite resentment, gathered into the most yin thing. And these things were specially planted to feed the Taisui, because it is the favorite food of the Taisui. Just today, I finally became a college student, but I found out that I came a day early. So I was introduced by my tutor. I came to Nanjing to find a hotel. Walking in the alley, I found a detective. This thing is not common now. Driven by curiosity, I looked down, but I heard a rustling sound inside. 2 lights suddenly appeared in the darkness. I was terrified, and my sweat was streaming down. I was about to shout for help. I found it was just a big orange cat. It scared me to death, but it's so cute. I was happily petting the cat. A bell suddenly rang in my ear. I was still wondering where the bell was coming from, but found that the big orange suddenly disappeared. I looked up. I saw a hotel called the Qing Dynasty. A shadow suddenly appeared in the hotel and was randomly hitting something. I widened my eyes in horror, but found a small card falling in front of me. Before I could finish my sentence, well, this old man directly pulled my suitcase and ran upstairs quickly. Hey, my suitcase. Don't run. I hurried too. I chased after him. When I stepped into the house, my heart suddenly trembled, as if I had gained something and lost something. And under the attack of the old man's business card, I didn't have time to think. I chased after him. I chased the old man. The old man introduced his hotel, and then took me to room 404. Nanting Qing Dynasty Hotel welcomes your stay. Check in. I hadn't reacted yet. The old man asked me how many days I would stay. I was very angry, and then said angrily, "Who wants to stay here?" "I'm here to chase the suitcase." Another bell rang. I curiously asked the boss if he heard the bell, but he didn't seem to hear it. But I saw a strange thing. "What is that?" I asked the boss. I saw a strange painting on the wall at the door. This painting is an antique. It has been on the wall since I was a child. It has a history of at least thousands of years. I directly complained that it was clearly a Qing Dynasty dress, but I was a little confused. It didn't look like this when I came in just now. The person in the painting was erased. Maybe because he was afraid of being ugly. But the more I looked at the painting, the more uncomfortable I felt. I asked the boss to take it down. He hurriedly asked me what to do after taking it off. I said I could consider random. The boss took it down. I saw a hole in the back of the painting. Damn it. Who did this? But I heard the sound of water coming from the hole. Then we both looked into the hole, but we found a magical scene. My face turned slightly red. There was someone taking a shower on the opposite side. And it was a woman. Then I quickly told the boss not to look anymore. But the boss suddenly said in a cold voice, "No. There should be a corridor behind this wall. And this is a hua from the 5th floor. But this is a 4th floor." The boss also expressed his confusion. So he reached in. But he took out a piece of cloth. I widened my eyes and looked at the fabric in front of me, and my face turned slightly red. The old man was afraid that the girl upstairs would catch a cold. He ran upstairs frantically. I was stunned for a moment, and then I excitedly chased after him. When I reached room 504, I found Uncle Guan standing blankly by the hole. I asked curiously, "But I didn't know." Uncle Guan was experiencing a strange thing. "Hey, is there anything wrong?" I was so nervous when seeing a beautiful woman. I didn't know how to speak. Uncle Guan patted my shoulder and said, "I said there was someone in this room." But he insisted on coming up to see the room. "Is there anything else?" Uncle Guan sealed a hole. But I was still a little confused. Why can the 4th floor see the people on the 5th floor? But Uncle Guan put the key in my hand and left directly. I thought I would just spend the night here. The door suddenly opened. Don't act like a spoiled child here. After I sorted out my belongings, I was ready to go out and eat something. After asking Uncle Guan, I was ready to go to the food street. Before leaving, Uncle Guan specifically reminded me, "Handsome, it's best to be back before 12 o'clock. I was puzzled. I asked him why. Uncle Guan said with a gloomy face, "Because I go to bed at 11 o'clock. I was speechless. I replied that I would be back before 11 o'clock, but I didn't know it was the Ghost Festival today, also known as the Ghost Festival. Guangzhou really lives up to its reputation. There are all kinds of delicious food. I forgot the time for a moment. I remembered it was already 11:30. So I hurried back. With the moonlight, I walked in the silent alley. I couldn't find the hotel for a moment, and it was already 12 o'clock at midnight. But suddenly I heard a rustling sound behind me. Then 2 ghosts suddenly appeared. I was terrified. I ran away quickly, but I obviously underestimated the speed of these 2 ghosts. I was scared. I was about to be caught up in an instant. I silently cried for help in my heart. I found out that it was 2 black people running at night. Seeing them leave, I was angry and shouted, "You African brothers, can you not run at night? Do you want to scare people to death?" I thought it was really cool. Suddenly, a ringtone suddenly came from behind me. I saw a zombie floating in the air. "What's this? What's that?" At this moment, my phone suddenly rang after I answered it. I found out that it was my sister Bao, asking me if I wanted to play games. The roller shutter door behind me suddenly opened. "Why did you come back?" "Come in quickly." But the zombie had already disappeared. The boss muttered as he closed the door, "It's so late. Don't wander around outside. Go to rest quickly." I was still a little strange. Was that thing just a hallucination? Or is it handsome guy? Remember to lock the door when you sleep. I was a little puzzled and asked why. But the boss didn't respond until I locked the door. I complained. I found it was late and the old man was talking nonsense. I was ready to take a shower and go to bed. At this time, the door opened strangely in the breeze. I was in the bathroom. was rubbing my back with a sword when I suddenly turned around. I found that I was really handsome. No wonder the boss always calls me handsome. For the next half an hour, I started posing in front of the mirror, but suddenly, what's going on with the power outage? I put on my pants. I was about to go out to check, but I didn't find the drain. Was a Tai Chi 8 trigrams plate. Below the Tai Chi diagram, 2 red lines were quietly spreading. I just arrived in the living room. I found the door of the room was strangely opened. I was puzzled. A pair of arms suddenly stretched in. I widened my eyes. I covered my mouth with years of movie experience, holding my breath, and didn't dare to make a sound. At this moment, the shadow went straight towards the window and jumped straight down the window the next second. And my fear had turned into fright. Looking at the figure downstairs, I ran downstairs directly, because when it jumped down just now, I saw that it was actually a person. At this moment, my intuition told me I must save him. I immediately started a live stream. Guys, I've been following him for over 20 minutes. His condition is relatively stable. Although he has fallen more than 20 times, he always gets up. And through continuous observation, this person should have toxic sleepwalking. For people who sleepwalk, it's best not to wake him up directly, because it may cause serious damage to the sleepwalker's nerves. Then I asked the audience in the live broadcast room, type 1 if you want to wake him up, type 2 if not. The audience in the live streaming room were frantically typing 333. At this time, a sudden pop came. I looked up. Oh my God, that's a lake. I quickly chased after him. I didn't care about anything else. I picked up the black man and shouted to wake him up. Hello? But behind me, I heard continuous thumping sounds. When I turned around to check, I found a dense crowd of people coming towards me like zombies. At this moment, another bell rang. I slowly turned my head. I saw under the red moon, an ancient official uniform was floating in the air. And on that invisible face, there seemed to be a pair of eyes. Was staring at me. At this time, the black man slowly woke up. I quickly covered his mouth. I whispered nervously, "Don't scream. Don't make a sound. In case they wake up, I don't know what would happen." At this time, the black man closed his eyes cooperatively. Seeing that he was so timid, I couldn't care less. I'm ready to leave this hell. These should all be people. Oh, collective sleepwalking? Or are they possessed? Oh no. My legs are so warm. For a moment, I saw the crowd was too crowded. I gently pushed someone away, but I seemed to have damaged something. The crowd kept dying one after another. The previous Tai Chi diagram also changed, and the ancient official robe watching silently in the sky let out a soft sigh. I heard the crying behind me getting louder. I looked back and found the lake suddenly rose, as if something was about to emerge, and was directly pulled into the lake. I struggled to open my eyes. I found terrifying clothes. It's fake. How could it be so big? With a bang, I was directly smashed into the lake by this terrifying thing. and the coffin robe that had been floating in the air fell directly down and plunged into the water.